Yeah. So let's start by looking at our collection, the Quantum Freedom NFT collection. Yay. We're calling it the world's first paradigm shifting, what do we call it? The world's first paradigm shifting collection of photography based on freedom consciousness. And what we're doing in our collection, as I just scroll down here a little bit, let's get this out of the way here, is bringing light from the photography. Most of the photography is mine. Anne-Marie's photography is going to come in on the second wave. And we're using light. Like in my photography, I've traveled around the world and I love capturing light wherever I see light, even if it means I'm getting overexposure. Because in the camera, when you do the overexposure, usually in photography, that's a bad thing. But for consciousness, it's a portal of energy and a portal of light. So we don't care.
So it's a physical, like it's a visual representation of light.
Yeah.
So it's like a strong signifier.
Yeah, strong visual. Yeah. And so you'll see that in every one of our NFTs, we're bringing in the light. And the story of the whole collection is light consciousness comes in from nature to wake up humanity and bring us into a true sense of freedom consciousness. And for us, freedom consciousness is not you're free to do whatever you want, which means you can hurt people. That's actually not freedom at all. That's addiction or wounding, right?
Yep.
Freedom consciousness is where you're sovereign, you're self-realized, and in that self-realization, you know that you are love, you come from love, everything you do comes from love. So therefore, the world is going to completely transform when everybody has freedom consciousness, because they're all going to be coming from love and acting from love, not from wounding or not from programming and so on and so forth. So that's the overall concept. And where the monkeys come in is because we're talking about consciousness. If we want to create a paradigm shift where we have love on the planet, where we have freedom consciousness, we need to get to tipping point or reach critical mass. And there was a Japanese experiment last century that observed monkeys that had been dropping, the scientists had been dropping dirty potatoes on the beach to watch what would happen. And then one of the monkeys, the first one called Macaca Fiscata, who actually happens to be our first sale of our NFT, picked it up and ate it. And the monkeys ate these dirty potatoes until Emo came along, a little 18-month-old female, and washed the potato before eating it. Got ridiculed because she was doing something different from the tribe, right? And she started teaching the other younger monkeys, teaching her mother, and then the younger monkeys started teaching their mothers, and then the men started coming along, and then, the older members of the tribe. When it reached critical mass, a paradigm shift happened, and that consciousness simultaneously was felt in another island, completely different from the one that these monkeys were on, and they started washing their dirty potatoes before eating them. So behavior shifted because consciousness shifted, and when consciousness gets to critical mass, there's like these simultaneous changes that happen around the world. That was the theory that was born out of that experiment. So the 100th monkey is the name of critical mass. It doesn't literally mean 100 monkeys.
Yeah.
It's like it just represents critical mass. So this was actually something that Anne-Marie did. Do you want to talk a little bit about why and how you added the monkeys? Because this wasn't originally in our collection, right?
No, I just I always like to bring a bit of fun to things, and my creative brain just plays. So we had the photos, and we started talking about the story of the 100th monkey, and then I was like, well, the 100th monkey should be in the picture, right?
Yeah.
Like, why not? And I don't know, I feel like also monkeys bring a sense of joy. And
yeah.
There's so many stories around monkeys. So yeah, I just ended up doing these other lots, putting the monkey on top of the picture. And Yeah, it creates a really different feel.
It does. And
Yeah.
there's let's scroll down and keep going down and looking at our collection. We have two different sizes. So there's going to be portrait, landscape, and the monkeys are square, just because that's the way that it worked out. So we've basically got 10 themes of light that you can either get portrait, landscape, and or with the monkey, and then you can get them with the consciousness imprint that we've put on there. I'm just seeing, here's Emo. This is the first monkey, little monkey that washed their potato. And yeah, so those are the monkeys. And then we've got trinities, where we've got three, the trinities all in one. So you can either get those separately and have the trinity separately, or you can get them all in one landscape photo. So we're going to have a look at some of those a little bit later. So yeah, so those are the main themes. And we have one video. We're looking at adding more videos where it's basically the video of the light with some kind of paradigm shifting thing that affects that consciousness shift. And yeah, so I think we'll talk a little bit more about that. The imprints, like some of them will have imprints on them. Let's have a look at this one. And this imprint here, we've done a lot of ceremony on that, and we will talk a bit about that later. And you can see that that right in there is where the consciousness imprint is. So every one of our NFTs we've called it artwork for those who are just art collectors, and you can just collect it because you like the photo, or for those of you who are more into the consciousness and the whole project of the 100th monkey, wanting to bring about freedom consciousness, then you're probably going to want to get the imprinted one. And the imprinted ones are a little bit cheaper than the art ones, simply because they are a little bit lower resolution. And every one of our NFTs comes with an unlockable, which includes
wallpapers, and there's also a printable, and you also get a set of affirmations that we've kind of programmed